New at 4:30, Panera Bread, or St. Louis Bread Co., as many of us know it, planning to give a big boost to the controversial charged lemonade drinks. This is according to Bloomberg, citing an internal memo from Panera. Those charged lemonade drinks have been criticized for their high levels of caffeine. Panera faced 3 lawsuits alleging that those drinks led to the death or heart injury after the amount of caffeine was not clearly advertised. So those drinks are expected to be phased out and replaced in the next coming weeks. Panera Bread did give First Alert 4 a statement confirming that charged lemonade will leave the menu. It goes on to say, "We listened to more than 30,000 guests about what they wanted from Panera and are focusing next on a broad array of beverages we know our guests desire, ranging from exciting on-trend flavors to low sugar and low caffeine options."